Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Kalle Sauerland ahead of a big night at your call on Friday. Big opportunity for Harlem Eubank.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic 2022. Back on Channel 5, done 1.88 million viewers last time out against Tom Farrell in a very tough fight, very good fight, well-matched fight, and we roll again. Tough Mexican opponent. They don't make him not tough over there, but it's about always that matching it one up from the last one, and there were a few mistakes in the Farrell fight. He'll be the first to admit it, but when you push yourself to the limit, that's what happens. That's how you develop fighters, and step for step this year, Harlem will go on, but we have to match him in that way to get the best out of him and to improve him every fight.
Talk about step by step. He's in a division where there's so much competition over here in the UK. Names are mentioned like Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. Maybe not ready for those sort of names yet, but do you see in 18 months, 2 years' time, those are fights, and those could be really big fights down the line?
I think they'll be quicker than that. I think that they'll be ordered at some stage, and well, from our side, we certainly won't be backing off from them. It is what it is. When it gets ordered, someone's got to make a call on it, and Harlem has told me he wants those fights. I wouldn't make them now voluntarily yet. I think and this is no disrespect to them. They're learning their craft as well, and and if they think they're the complete article, they're wrong. But I don't know Adam Azim so much, but Dalton Smith is a very good fighter. Actually boxed on a show of ours in Austria last year. I watched him. Very good talent. Very good talent. But talents are until they're at that level, we never know what. I've had so many talents over the years that unfortunately never came through. Some came through. You don't. If everyone came through, then you'd be king of the world. Boxing's one that you don't know until they come into those fights, those 12-rounders, those championship rounds, and that's where you really see it. And I think they're both, let's say, a fight or two off that. But once again, if it gets ordered, it gets ordered.
I know we're pressed for time, so I'll move on. The Sun article that came out the other day, 3rd of June, a touted date for Conor Benn against Chris Eubank Jr. What can you tell us about that? Is there any truth to the article?
No, there's no truth to the article. There's no deal. There's no contract. We've had a flirt. Yeah, it's a fight that of course has a certain magnitude, which is obviously very, very big. But that's really all there is to say on it. It's a story that, was leaked at 5 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. I don't know, maybe someone was bored. There's a lot of clickbaits going around these days, and but at the end of the day, it's a credible journalist. Well, he's a good guy, and he's probably got it off a source, and why not run with it? I totally get it. I'd love to know who the source was, but we'll leave that for another day. It ruined my Monday afternoon because my phone suddenly blew up. But I can categorically confirm that no writings have been exchanged, no contracts have been exchanged, and I'm in South London today and not in Abu Dhabi.
Is Conor Benn still the number one choice for Chris Eubank Jr. next?
Conor Benn? No, Liam Smith. Sorry, Liam Smith is the number one choice because that's the first choice we went for. We're trying to make that work. Have a meeting this afternoon on that. But when you talk about Ben, is it the next fight or the fight after, or those are things that we'll see very quickly whether they materialise or not. But at the same time, we're working on a contract to fight Liam Smith right now. So if that changes, it's boxing. Of course, it could change. We could not agree on something with the other side on the Liam Smith stuff, but I would expect that fight to get made.
Whether it's now or down the line, is that fight 10 times bigger than it was when it was first made because of all the bad blood there is now for obvious reasons.
I think both fights are bigger. I think the Liam Smith rematch is bigger, and I think the Conor Benn fight now, of course, is a monster. Simply on the basis that, well, people are going to be very curious for whatever reason. It's something that you can't avoid.
A couple more bits before I let you go. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, no longer going ahead. I'm sure you can't point the finger at anybody, but who do you think is to blame for that falling through?
I don't know. I think Tyson definitely thought he was fighting at Wembley. I actually saw Tyson in the flesh, and he looked in terrific nick. So he was definitely in training. And if Tyson's in training, and as he said, he don't put them on for nothing, so he was definitely expecting that fight to get made. I can't judge on Usyk. I can just say I've promoted Usyk many times, obviously. Great athlete, cool guy. So he was dicking around. It must have been someone on the promotional side that was trying to push through a point that didn't get accepted. I do think that Tyson was training for that fight, and like I said, he would have expected the deal to get done, so he would have been gutted. And I'm sure Usyk as well.
Two big fights going on this weekend in London. Obviously, Harlem Eubank on the Friday night at York Hall. We've got Anthony Joshua on Saturday night as well. Can I get a prediction for both fights from yourself?
Yeah, I mean, look, very, very different evenings. Harlem Eubank, one of the guys coming through live on Channel 5, so great place to showcase your talent. Got Matty Harris on there as well. From a British point of view, I think it's a 10-fight card. Friday night fights at York Hall, are always a great atmosphere. You've got a lot of, it's going to be a super hot atmosphere, and I'm sure that on DAZN on Saturday night over at the O2, Josh was in for the fight of his life. Really, I think that when people say, "Oh well, it's not a world title fight," okay, it's not, but there's more than a world title on the line here. There's more. If he was world champion and he lost, go do the rematch. He loses Saturday night, it doesn't look good. And Franklin looks like he's turned up for the fight of his life. And let's face it, this is what boxing's about. It's a Rocky story, isn't it? Franklin goes in there, throws that Hazim Rahman shot like he did on Lennox Lewis all those years ago. You have that sort of moment, and let's go on the performance he had against Dillian White. This guy can swing. This guy's got wild hooks. One of them lands at that weight, and he has changed the course of his life forever. Whereas you got AJ, we call him like this. You always feel like AJ's 45 years old, but he's still a young fighter, and he's in the fight of his life on Saturday night. Let's be honest about it. This is more pressure on him now than there is in a normal world title defense.
Do you think he retires if he loses? Do you think he walks away from the sport?
I don't know. I'm not close enough to read his mindset, but it always depends how you lose and things like that. But it's a tough one, isn't it? After that, where do you go from there? But I don't think that's on their minds. I think they're going to be positive, and I think that for British boxing, everyone needs to get behind him, because it's together with Tyson Fury, they're the two big heavyweights, aren't they? We can talk about obviously Joe coming through and a lot of other good British heavyweights, but that's the one, and I'm looking forward to see it. I'll probably pop down there. I've got Philip Hergovich in town. He's watching, interestingly. So El Animal will be probably ringside. It's gonna be a very interesting night of heavyweight boxing. That's for sure.
Cheers for your time, Kalle, and I hope Friday night all goes smoothly.
Thank you.